With the huge success of Peacemaker Season 1 still looming in the public eye, it was no surprise to see that it was renewed for a second season, Season 2 Electric Boogaloo. After the commercial failure of 2016's Suicide Squad, most people assumed that this was the last time we would ever see that team of heroes on the big screen. But then, in 2021, James Gunn came in like a real-life superhero and saved the day and created a show for casual and hardcore DC fans alike. Peacemaker is one of the most popular and well-received superhero shows in the modern era, and the hype for Season 2 is still very much high. James Gunn's insanely popular series has done a fantastic job at bringing characters from the comic books into the live-action format. Luckily for this type of show, a comic book adaptation, there seems to be an infinite amount of content and character and backstory to draw from. Peacemaker Season 1 was packed full of obscure references to well-known and lesser-known DC characters. With James Gunn as the director and writer, who has taken many creative liberties from designing the characters of this DCEU, we could see a huge influx of DC characters in the live-action form that haven't seen the light of day. Like me, I've been writing the script. I haven't seen the light of day for weeks. Auggie Smith was a big villain in Season 1, being the racist father to Peacemaker, but also providing technology and aid to his son, as we can see when Peacemaker gets out of prison. Even though Auggie was not happy to see him, he still gave his son new helmets to aid in his missions. It's important to note that I found it very interesting that the White Dragon was not the Peacemaker's father in the comics, and that was something that James Gunn wrote for the show. Anyways, in the final scene of the final episode of the first season, we see that Peacemaker is sitting on his front porch of his wonderful trailer park home, enjoying some quiet time with his best friend Eagly, his pet eagle, the last remaining butterfly, and the T-1000 himself, Auggie Smith, aka the White Dragon, who is very dead at this point. We can see the Peacemaker is being haunted by his father in a very physical form. We know Auggie is extremely advanced when it comes to technology. What if he created an artificial intelligence where his soul now lives after he died? He continues to antagonize his son through his helmets. It's a possibility. Something to think about. It is extremely likely that Auggie will pop up in Season 2 to continue to haunt his son's mind and mess with him every step of the way. Many characters may come back for vengeance, but one big and tall one is Judo Master, a villain bodyguard who works for Senator Goff and a supporter of the Butterflies. Although there are at least 4 versions of the Judo Master, this unnamed one is especially strong and powerful and very good at escaping dangerous situations. Throughout the first season, it was a back-and-forth cat-and-mouse game between Peacemaker and company and Judo Master. Peacemaker and co. would capture him, he would escape, rinse and repeat a few times. The first season ends with him enjoying a wonderful bag of Cheetos while a bunch of bodies are laying around, after he attacked the group for making fun of him. Clearly upset that he's been defeated this time by Peacemaker and company, it is very possible that he will come back for revenge for destroying the Butterflies and killing their cow. It is very likely that after the desecration of the Butterflies, he has been left without a cause. Could he team up with Amanda Waller to defeat the Peacemaker? Will he join forces with the Peacemaker? Hopefully we will find out in Season 2. One thing's for sure, I don't think we've seen the last of our little martial artist buddy. Back in mid-2021, James Gunn tweeted that he had a group of characters he was considering for Suicide Squad that never made the cut, but could see the light of day in other projects. One of them was revealed to be Black Spider. Peacemaker Season 2 seems like a great place for Black Spider to make his debut. Although the series Young Justice turns him into kind of a DC version of Spider-Man, his original design is of a vigilante and assassin, a wonderful foe for Peacemaker. Black Spider's story is one of addiction and guilt, even killing his own father to fuel his drug addiction. This mirrors Peacemaker and his own personal struggles. Black Spider was eventually arrested by Batman, which set him on the villain path. James Gunn, make this happen. One of the more bizarre characters in the DCEU that we could see in future episodes is that of the Ten-Eyed Man. He's a superb marksman with complete 360-degree view due to his 10 eyes. He gained his abilities after a grenade went off during his time serving in Vietnam, and upon returning to civilian life, he was attacked by thugs and a bomb was attached to him. Batman showed up and the Ten-Eyed Man attacked him because he assumed Batman was with the thieves. A doctor moved his fiber optics to his fingertips soon after, and driven by his desire for vengeance against Batman, he turned to a life of crime. James Gunn has done a wonderful job bringing bizarre and different characters to the big screen, and the Ten-Eyed Man is no different. Back to that list that James Gunn tweeted last year about cut villains and characters that could see a return, another name on the list was the supervillain queen Knockout. She's a member of the New Gods and a warrior who lives on Earth. Although she was forced to aid the Suicide Squad, she went up against Superboy and even joined forces with the Secret Six as a secret enemy spy. She is extremely strong and has inhuman healing powers. A very capable villain if you ask me, and she would be a fantastic addition to Season 2. One huge possibility of a villain in Season 2 is Amanda Waller, the intelligence officer with Argus and the FBI. She's also the leader of Task Force X, also known as the Suicide Squad. With her daughter outing her as the one who directed her to plant the diary in Peacemaker's house during the press conference, that leaves a wide open storyline for revenge against her daughter, or her daughter's wife. She's been on a mission to hunt, arrest, or even kill Peacemaker, and it makes sense that Waller will even take out her own daughter in the process. Whatever happens, Waller will not take this laying down. One supervillain that has already appeared as a small Easter egg in Season 1 is Eclipso, which could hint that he's coming to stir up the pot in Season 2. He's been shown to be able to possess powerful characters like Superman and Captain Marvel to achieve his goals. He's known as one of the most powerful magical foes in the DCEU, and he has a strong and violent connection to Peacemaker. During the Eclipso series in the early 1990s, Peacemaker actually died while fighting him alongside the Suicide Squad. Peacemaker was flying a helicopter to try and stop Eclipso's tanks. This is a great foundation to setting up a Season 2 storyline for Eclipso. We found out at the end of Season 1 that Economos returned to work at Belle Reve Prison, which seems to imply that he's back on the side of Waller and Task Force X. Will Economos be loyal to Waller? Will he pass information and tips back to Peacemaker and company? I'm assuming Waller won't treat him well because no one ever does, which is sad. I want to give him a big hug sometimes. This movement could allow Economos to either work for or against Peacemaker in the second season. I'm leaning towards against, simply for the fact of how many times Peacemaker accused Economos of dyeing his beard, which, as we saw, was a very sensitive subject for Economos, and caused many fights between the two. Since Season 1 saw the brutal slaying of Charlie the Gorilla, a gorilla that escaped from the zoo early in the season and was taken over by the butterflies, it could possibly be a hint that Gorilla Grodd could make an appearance. Grodd is a hyper-intelligent ape with psychic powers that often uses armies of henchmen to accomplish long-term plans. This seems like a solid fit for Season 2 because Grodd is a very powerful being and it would be a great fight between him and Peacemaker and company. Much like the army of butterflies, an army of apes with psychic powers could match up well with Peacemaker. One of the biggest curveballs we could see in the next season of Peacemaker is the heel turn of our favorite not best friend Vigilante. He is a busboy in a restaurant by day and a ruthless vigilante by night who joined forces with Peacemaker because he is Vigilante's idol. Vigilante has committed multiple acts of violence against various criminals, which has gained the attention of the Fuzz. The man even left Peacemaker 2,376 voicemails while he was in prison. It's no secret that Vigilante believes him and Peacemaker are best friends, but Peacemaker sticks to his very large guns that his best friend is Eagly. He is often very jealous and possessive of Peacemaker's friendship, and it's very possible we see him lash out on Peacemaker, Eagly, or Peacemaker's new blossoming romance with Hardcore. Seeing Peacemaker create all these new bonds and friendships with other people could cause Vigilante to lash out and try to sabotage or attack Adebayo, Harcourt, or even Peacemaker himself if he feels particularly hurt. He could even join forces with Waller to do it. Characters like Vigilante and Judo Master are so far removed from their comic book counterparts, James Gunn has a huge open space for creative freedom to bring in any character he wants from the comic books. Since superhero comics have a love affair with multiverses, imagine other Peacemakers coming from other Earths to team up or even go against Peacemaker. Cena's Peacemaker probably wouldn't love the idea of another man coming in and stealing his thunder. Ah, the fragile masculinity. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, you made it to the end of the video. What were some of your favorite villains from Season 1 of Peacemaker? Who are you, in particular, looking forward to the most in Season 2 of Peacemaker? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, everybody, thanks for watching.